What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another deck profile. This time we have a bit of a different video for you guys. We are going to be interviewing one of my good friends, Tony Santaniello from Team Rivalry over in Rhode Island. What's up, Tony?
Nothing much. Living the dream.
Living the dream. That's awesome, man. All right, so we have your Trunks Storm list that was featured on the channel. We had a couple people ask for this list, so I wanted to get it to them. And I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on some of the stuff in this deck. It's a very unique deck, I think. Some interesting ratios, some interesting main deck choices. So we have the Trunks leader. This is going to be a little bit less of a video where we go into what most of the cards do. A lot of them are pretty standard. Why do you go with the Trunks leader in this deck over the Hirudegarn leader?
I try to describe it as the caps are kind of different, and the plays and there's certain things you can do, just very key lines actually you can do differently in the Trunks deck that you have to actually work harder for in Hirudegarn. But Hirudegarn makes the straight line plays very, very easy. Comparatively speaking, a better player playing Trunks is by far better than another player playing Trunks. Even if they're the same amount of time, just if you're just better, you got the lines down, everything down, you're gonna just smoke your opponent, especially in that mirror match. And with Hirudegarn, it's kind of just, I won the die roll. So yeah, I guess I win. That's it. You know what I'm saying? They have a straight line match. You know how this is gonna go unless you draw a Nimbus or something to out it.
So you think the Trunks deck has more lines of play and more kind of adaptability?
Yeah, the way I described it to my friends actually is when I like this build specifically because I call it slamming the brakes. And Hirudegarn and other leaders playing it besides SS3, which in my opinion is the weakest one, but I'll get into that later. When you slam the brakes with Trunks, you don't have to work to put that Bardock out again because you drew into a Gene, or you don't have to, you know what I'm saying, tap out to put that, even put that down, or just force a bad play to resend the yellow to play the Bardock to play the Gene. You're doing so much, and it's burning you a little bit more because with Bardock you're taking a life too. So what ends up happening is that you kind of either stall out right there, I'm not gonna do anything else, I guess. So you know what I'm saying, they either stop or they tap out and just kind of keep being jerks and end up losing because of that. And with this deck, you can literally slam the brakes. Mai is effortless. There's no requirements other than your leader, so therefore you can just slam her down immediately. So I literally at the 1K at the Invitational slammed down 4 against my opponent when I got Nimbus, and I was like, all right, you can go.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually with the Bardock and the Gene. I noticed that playing the Hirudegarn Storm deck myself. When you want to establish that Gene, if you draw into it after you've already swap your Bardock back to hand, it's a little bit challenging sometimes to get that drop. It does make a lot of sense. Do you feel like the Trunks leader has more raw draw power than the Hirudegarn deck? I don't know. Every time I played against Trunks, whether it's as Hirudegarn or as a different leader, I always feel like Trunks just always has more cards in their hand than Hirudegarn does. But I do think Hirudegarn sees more of its deck, but I think Trunks always has more cards in hand. What do you think about that?
So another big part about Trunks is that you do 1000% see many more cards. If you're ultimately playing this deck and you can sometimes I'm not saying it's this is what you want, but even making it to turn 2, turn 3 is just abusing that Trunks leader effect and forcing your opponent back because you're drawing more than them, because you're doing a free combo and they can't do that. It really starts to just lay it on. So the longer the games, it's somewhat kind of better if you're trying to just put a little extra pressure here and there to win the game. But on an optimal play, even you're gonna see I think it's 4 cards. I think I said before. So you're gonna end up ultimately swinging with your leader, or generally you don't, not your leader. It's 5 cards without leader. No, it's 5 with leader swing. So you would swing with a battle card, combo, draw, awaken, draw 2 more, combo, draw, and then your next swing your leader would be the 5th card. So you get to kind of cycle through 2 cards and draw a total +3. And Hirudegarn does the cycling, but it's 1 turn at a time with only a +1. So and even on the optimal turn, it's still only a +1 because that's your flip turn.
Right, and it's also nice when you have the little Gotens and Bardocks trying to swing into an awakened leader, and you can combo and with Trunks' ability, you don't neg on that combo. It's pretty nice.
I mean, yeah, it's just wonderful. Also, a little side note too, actually, before I forget about this, is that with these extra 5 cards, you can play a little bit more aggressively and freely, knowing that you're probably gonna hit those flutes, you're probably gonna hit those beams, you're probably gonna hit those unyieldings, or you're definitely gonna hit a Mai. And with that being said, you play a little bit more extra aggressive. There are times in this deck where I'll tap out, but I'll have 3-4 blockers out because of these Bardock Capes, or just slamming down 3 Mais in a Bardock Cape or something like that.
All right. So last question about the leader itself. So when you have, like, let's say 2 players on an equal skill level, one playing Trunk Storm, one playing Fruitigarden Storm, who wins? What's the better matchup?
I haven't tested my list versus my Harugan list per se, because it's too different and it's just too many lines to try to memorize between myself. But as far as like my Trunks list against a typical Harugan list, I realistically would kind of rather play my Trunks, only due to the fact that, like I said, I don't have to work for these Mais. I don't have to work for pretty much anything. Like, I just kind of get 5 extra cards, and if I can't kill you, 5 extra cards that you have to deal with. And I'm definitely seeing these Nimbuses. I'm definitely seeing these Mais. In that mirror match, it's kind of like once the Harugan, especially when the Harugan player gets forced past the Free Awakening, like, you know, Awaken, Restand 2. Once you get forced that on defense, it's kind of like really hard, because now you've obviously comboed a lot. You've obviously been forced to Awaken, so your next turn might not be a huge play anymore. And like, it's just kind of different because of Trunks, you know you're never going to restand energy in the first place. If you keep that mindset, I think it really keeps you in a stronger position, because you know more. Like, what's the worst that could happen right now? Like, you're just more aware of all the bad situations. And realistically speaking, one turn, you know, playing Storm, like, everything can change after a good block or a good Nimbus at the right time, right negate at any time. And with that being said, I prefer the Trunks because at a good negate, you can't slam down those genes anymore. You literally have your yellow down. With Trunks, you slam down a Mai, and then you can literally, I've done this many times too, swing and keep that turn going by comboing the unyielding, going to 10k, and getting your yellow back to keep going. Like, just digging. Like, you can't. It's harder to be stopped, I guess, if you really want it that bad. And Harugan, it's very easy to get stopped, because once that one negate happens, you're done. And in the Storm mirror match specifically, going into that, so 2 good players, equal skill, they both know the deck. Getting negated, though, is the bigger thing, where Harugan gets negated perfectly, turn's done, Trunks gets negated perfectly, I can still kind of throw out free cards.
That makes a lot of sense, actually, especially because you're playing a really defensive package with 4 Mais and 4 Nimbus. That makes a lot of sense, actually, and I'm sure, I know Nimbus is extra clutch in like the mirror match, whether it's Storm mirror match, Harugan or Trunks. So that makes a lot of sense. Let's go over to the 5 Overrealm cards. You ever feel like this is like a little too much Overrealm? Like, you ever feel like you brick on these or can't really resolve all the ones you want to resolve in a game because you're playing 5, or does it always just work out pretty fine?
Honestly, it kind of just feels like it works out pretty fine. There's never really a bad time you want to see Science Disfu, because this deck is still consistent enough to where I'm not saying you're going to drop 7 cards in one turn, but if you don't drop 7, it's fine. Don't worry about it, because on the defense, you will also have to be dropping cards. And generally speaking, if I get to 3 or 4 cards in my turn into grave, and then your turn comes, I'm playing defensively, maybe a Bean or just something, you know, because like, I need it on defense. When it comes to my turn, begin my turn, usually I can just tap a color, like, you know, one of my 2-3 energy I have, and then I just Scientist Fu for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, boop, there it is. Like, I get to draw 2 cards off the top, like right here, right now, and it makes it feel amazing. And then the Force Injection, yeah, I do sometimes. I guess the only time he's never good is when you're playing anything that's not SS3.
Right,
and when you are playing against SS3, if you're like me and you don't win the dice roll, you put this bad boy in the main deck and you just handle business. If you do win the dice roll, then you would actually main deck the Banisher.
So even if you were betting on winning the dice roll, you'd still play 5 Overrealms?
Oh yes, absolutely. The Scientist Food, never really a bad time. You honestly, well, for me, if I don't kill the first time, I usually try to resolve the second one, and then it's like on the second swing I have it again. So it's like, I'd rather have, like, I'd rather have game enders, you know? Like, he's a game ender.
Absolutely.
The further instruction Chomp is a game ender. The Bardock's a game ender. Like, so I'm not gonna say +2, you know, battle card that's 25k double strike isn't a game ender. Like, it's my best game ender.
Absolutely.
And I'd rather see that over the Chompers and Bardocks.
Alright, so next up we got the 4 Flute. So what do you think about this deck? What do you think about Fruitigarden Storm? What do you think about Aggro in general once Flute goes to 1?
So with Flute going to 1, we'll start there. I don't believe Aggro dies, and if it, you know, it definitely will slow these decks down because that's a new spot and there's no 0 cost to replace it. Maybe, you know, you can throw in 2 extra successors, I guess. That's my plan, kind of. Maybe 2 extra successors and 2 grandpas, and then, you know, it's still super defensive anyways. Like, it changes, but at least it's still free cost. It gets me a card, I guess. I don't know, like just to help me cycle from like my overwhelms, anyways. But for Flute to 0, I mean Flute to 1, I don't see Aggro dying. I just don't see it being as prominently played as it's critically acclaimed across the states, because at the moment I just came back from a 20-person event where there was only 4 or 5 Storm players, and 2 of them played Trunks, one played Harudigan, or 2 played Harudigan, and 1 played SS3. And the other 20 people were actually playing some interesting things, to say the least, but there was also, you know, like a lot of SS3 red blue, SS3 green red, green blue,
right.
red blue, yellow, whatever. Like there was just still a lot of that. And so I don't know, it's just, that's gonna stay the same, you know, like that's gonna get higher if anything. Aggro will probably die off to the more casual players, because let's face it, they don't want to put the extra work in to really dig in.
It's a hard deck to play.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. You don't want to dig in, waste your time on something that if you essentially mess up one turn, like your turn's over. You know, like it's not really fun. Like, and then you're playing with your friend anyways, and you know what I'm saying. Like, your friend doesn't want to sit there for 20 minutes while you raffle their face off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's Aggro, like in the format, it's a really hard deck to play. Like a lot of people have said, like for ARG Philly, you know, the Goten was legal and stuff, and like no one really played it. Everyone played Blue Red SS3 because it's such a hard deck to learn that only giving everyone about like a week or less than a week to test the deck is not enough time for someone to master the deck. It makes a lot of sense, honestly. And like Flute, in my own personal testing, like Flute's really good. When you, like, I've been testing Flute at 1 in my Hurdigarn Storm deck, so like seeing the 1 Flute's really nice. But it's not detrimental to the whole strategy of the deck. Like, being able to put that Goten back to hand and play it again with your Bardock is really good, but it really doesn't stop this deck from killing on turn 2 or turn 3. Like, turn 2 is a little harder, but turn 3 is still a very, like, high percentage kill turn if you're not playing against, like, Nimbus, especially.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. Honestly, the way I see it, it's the only part of this deck that gets slowed down is there are definitely turns. Like I said, there's no other 0 cost that can replace. There's no other card that can really replace this in general.
I tried out Killy Zone to be just another like 0 cross draw one. Really wasn't that great. I really didn't find it that great. It kind of just like messed up your overwhelm.
Does it trigger the? Yeah, I guess does it trigger the overwhelm or no?
What do you mean by what do you mean by
like when you use that Killy Zone, is that an overwhelm or no?
No, it's not. It just banish 3 from grave, draw 1.
Yeah, I heard a lot of hype about it, and so that's why I was just curious. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it'd be okay, but it doesn't really help you.
Yeah, I was trying the Flute at 1. I was trying the Killy Zones to replace it. I didn't really like it. I also tried that Toa that restands a 2-drop or less to get like more attacks out of Goten and stuff. I didn't really like that either, honestly. It was kind of wasn't great.
Yeah, it just like, it's cute for red blue Trunks. It's not really meant for Harudigan or Storm or anything like that, in my opinion.
All right, so we got the 4 Senzu Bean and 4 Trunks, super standard. We got the 4 Mai. We talked about it. Really defensive deck in this case, which I think is really cool, and I think it's important in the mirror match. Then we got the boost attack Piccolos. You ever see like a need for Kibito Kai?
Well, here's the thing. So every time I see Computer Guy, I'm like, yo, that's so cute. Look at that spice. Saucy. And then when I'm putting it to my own deck, I'm like, why the heck would I want this? Get it out of here. So it's weird because I'm like, oh, give you a card back? No, I don't want. What do I do? Like, everyone's hitting me with unyieldings and super combos. Like, no, this is not good.
Yeah, it's actually funny because like with Kibito Kai in your deck, even though like if you can't draw because your opponent has multiple cards in the combo area, your leader will still net you a draw, so it's still like a Piccolo. But in this case, like, why would you not want to draw 2 with Piccolo, right? Like that just seems
exactly.
Really
I'm getting 5+ cards with this leader. I want all more extra cards if I can get them.
Absolutely. 2 Champa, really good. Then we got only 2 Unbreakable. I don't know. Can you touch on this a little bit? Like why only 2? Why even play it at that point? Like you still find it like pretty useful?
So with Unbreakable, with Bean, and with Nimbus, I put them on the same category of this is my turn 1. What am I gonna do to live? And Unbreakable, believe it or not, boys, will get you there sometimes with just hitting a 20k one time and your opponent not having the full pieces. Because remember, if you win the die roll, you go first. This is your survival turn, meaning the opponent is going to try to do something because they're gonna end their turn and either tapped out or they're just giving you an energy. So at least that's what they should be trying to do. If you didn't know, now you know. And when you're the one going second, if you don't have that offensive pressure, you still need something for defense then. And literally just like, you know, your opponent having 2 energy and just say, I'm going for it now. Like, I'm trying to get you low now. You know, I've been kept from a double strike combo, like, you know, because you were drawing so many cards. Remember that when we were getting hit, and then I combo a couple 5Ks and that, and now I said I'm not going from 5 to 3. I'm going from 5 and staying at 5. Then my turn's coming now because all he wanted to do was get me as low as possible, so I couldn't do as much.
Right.
And my turn comes, play the Bardock, Awaken, and I just return the favor. And I just feel like it's still a really good defensive card. I rarely ever use it to actually push for games because I don't like tapping the energy in this. I think this card is actually much better in Haruden Storm. I've been testing that a lot lately, and it is great because you get that free 2 restand, and that's like, it's like playing SS3. Like this card literally belongs in only SS3 decks, but here we are trying to take input into other things. But
super good
restanding,
card.
yeah, exactly. Restanding free energy though is what makes this a good card.
Absolutely. It makes it way more free too. It literally makes it 8 more super combos, but in decks that don't untap as freely, it is a little more challenging for sure. Okay, so then we have the only 2 Successor Hope. 2 questions. I'll start with the first one. Do you feel like you see Bardock enough with only 2 Successor? Because sometimes I'm playing Rudigarn and I play 3 Successor, and sometimes I still miss that Bardock, and I'm like, dang, I should play 4 Successor, but I really shouldn't because, man, the 4th one will just brick a lot. But yeah, so only 2 Successor. You feel like you see Bardock enough?
Oh, I think I see him plenty. There's definitely some games like today. I think I played 4 or 5 games, and one of the games I didn't see him at all. Like
only one game. That's not bad.
Never saw him, but like I also was drawing the Successors, and using Planet Vegeta,
right?
And I would mull for it sometimes, and also like I said, Unbreakable gets you there. Like, well, especially while you're on defense, like they're like, oh, I'm gonna do something small, like they have 1 energy up and they're gonna do a little pressure to you. Successor, one of the last attacks, boom, bam, look at you now. Oh, it just drew into it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're getting cards from life, not your deck. So why not try to get them from both? Like this, I try to just not ever. How do I word this? That to me isn't a real card in the deck. Just like my super combos, I try to use it in the best way I think is possible to make it a free card. Like, oh, I'm just
cycling
kind of mill to it. Yeah, cycling to the deck, and I don't want to tap out on your turn and make you think I can't do anything. I'd rather you swing at me because I know you're gonna swing at me, and then just use this card to, get the free draw. And then, oh look, I drew into Bardock, now I can go off. Or, if I didn't, at least I'm 1 card closer.
Absolutely, yeah. And then what do you think about the 2 Grandpa Gohan that a lot of people are playing? I think it's really good. I like it a lot, especially because I've been testing SS3 Storm as well, and it's really good in SS3 Storm, especially when you can't go on a kill turn, in my opinion, because a lot of times, especially in SS3, you don't want to go below 4 life, and Grandpa Gohan kind of allows you to do that. So what do you think about Grandpa Gohan? Would you maybe add it into the deck in the future?
Honestly, man, I don't know how I feel about that because I think SS3 is the worst variant. I also believe that that deck just does not do the job. Like I don't know how to word it, but it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe right now I'm thinking to myself, SS3 players must misplay playing that deck because I don't understand the grand glory of I'm gonna go down to 4 life and then play ditch every card in my hand to stay alive. Like I don't. Like that's the issue. Like when you stop at 4 and now you're just Grandpa Gohan and you already crit yourself 2, you're only minus 2 cards. Yeah, you'll get them back on the flip, but you're still minus 2 cards that you're not gonna have for pressure. And Grandpa Gohan alone cannot put the pressure himself with a general swing. Right. Even if your part's not awakened, you have to combo for that, and that's horrible.
2 cards, yeah.
Like I like the fact that it's a blocker, but this is hold the brakes, my boys. Like literally, like the moment you're like, oh, I'm not gonna die. It's like, okay, cool. Slam, Maz, and I have 4 Nimbus. Good luck trying to get through. Like I can just slam the brakes. Why would I need to restand energy and crit myself 2 along the way and then play the protect the game? Like today, I watched someone have 3 Gotens out, and when someone was swinging at the Gotens to clear them, they were ditching their whole hands or pitching so many cards to stay alive. And I was like, where's the real advantage here? Like, I don't understand because like you're playing protect the Goten now. Like you're like 2 5Ks like, and they were playing against like an Android player, and the Android player had a bunch of Androids though. So you know how that goes. They're already plus 5K.
Yeah, no, that makes the go. Like at that point, you let the Gotens go. That kind of sounds like some misplay in there. But you ever find yourself like trying to swap at 1 life or not really so much?
No, not really. There's like no game where I think anyone will ever stay. If I'm at 1, you're either a god, and like I don't know, like it just doesn't happen like ever. Like at most you'll be at 3 and I'll be at 1, and it's my turn though, and I'll swing my leader, and then I'll make sure I get you to 2, and then once you're at 2, it's like the I don't need these Barracks anymore. Like the trash. If I summon this, I'm gonna kill myself.
Makes sense. And back to the SS3 deck, I've been testing it a lot, and like I like it a lot because I just feel like obviously the 3 free energy is insane. Yesterday actually I was playtesting the deck, and I went second, flipped my 2 up. It was a blue yellow, and I killed him right there, like on my first turn. It was pretty insane. But like I will give the deck some downside. Like it definitely does not draw as much as Rudigarn or Trunks. That's totally just the case of the deck, because it just doesn't draw as much. But in the mirror match, like the Storm mirror match against Trunks or against Rudigarn, it's actually insane just because you get that free energy to resolve your Nimbus. And then when I'm playtesting either Rudigarn or SS3 Storm, I haven't playtested Trunks Storm as much, but when I'm playtesting Rudigarn or SS3 Storm, getting Nimbus is like beating your head against a brick wall, in my opinion. Like it literally like beats the deck. But SS3 being able to adapt and play that defensive game when you can't kill your opponent, I think is like super good.
Oh, it's definitely good. That's the best part of it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I like the clunkier plays that I can break through and do. Like I said earlier about the Mize and stuff. Like if a certain negate happens, I can keep going, or
right.
You know, like it's the option of not having to go through hoops to get, you know, genes or whatever out.
Yeah, and then of course you're playing the 2 bad ring to beat the Nimbus. Like I really like bad ring as well. I see a lot of lists only playing 1, if any, in the main deck. But I think you know, yellow is obviously becoming a lot more popular now in the format, and a lot of people are playing Nimbus because obviously it's super duper good against aggro. And I am actually also testing 2 bad ring in the main, and I like it a lot. I think it's really important to be able to stop Nimbus, and I see that you also kind of seems to like 2 in the main deck. I think it's really important.
Yeah, ever since I've seen the deck, actually, I played Rudigarn Red Blue for 2 weeks, and I was getting pretty good with it, tearing up a couple locals, and then I went to one, and this deck had just become legal, and he 2-0'd me, and I was like, all right, you have the better aggro deck, and he was like, I don't know. I said, no, you definitely have the better aggro deck. Like, the access to Nimbus is what's gonna make you win. So therefore, I knew coming into making the deck, I was like, nah, Nimbus is too good. I need 4 of this, and I need at least 2 ways to stop it.
Yeah, no, for me, like, especially in SS3 Storm, like the 1 bad ring is not reliable enough. Maybe in Rudigarn and Trunks you can get away with 1, but I really like 2. You know, if you see the second one, you just charge it. It's easy.
Yeah, charge it, pitch it, do something with it.
Yeah. What do you think about a lot of people starting to cut? I've seen a lot of people starting to cut Planet Vegeta. What do you think about that?
Why would you cut that card?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of lists are just cutting it. Like the SS3 Storm deck that actually won the St. Louis Regional wasn't playing it, and things like that. A lot of people are trying to cut it.
Well, SS3 is different. Just playing a turn 1 feels way more different. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think it feels as explosive. Actually, yeah, it 1000. That's it. It 1000% does not feel as explosive, right, because you're not drawing as many cards. Like, you're kind of hoping you get there, and just thinking about it, like, yeah, like, I don't know, like, that's not explosive. Having Nimbuses, and then I don't know, it's just you can draw a lot of bad things, I guess. I don't know, but regardless, they can't afford to play it, I feel like, because they would rather try to play something to get there a little faster. Like, Successor of Hope is kind of necessary maybe at 3 or 4 because you need this product to get that awakening turn.
Right.
Otherwise, if you don't awaken turn 1, now you're like, well, I played a bad leader today.
Yeah, if you don't awaken turn 1, that's 3 Storm. You're actually pretty far behind. Like, going second and hitting blue yellow or hitting double yellow is actually really good in SS3 Storm for sure. Then we have the 4 Gotens and the 3 Bardock. So what are some instances where you try like really hard to establish a Bardock blocker, like Will of Iron? What are like some instances where you think like, okay, this is gonna be my win con for this game?
If I can establish you at 2, and I can guarantee myself 2 swings, knowing that I have options like the battering laser, or I know you're not gonna be able to stop the attack. I put you to such a low hand count, you're gonna pretty much take the attack. Generally, I'll set up a 3-2, or I'll set up a Scientist Flu on board, or something to. No matter what, a 3-2, by the way, is the play just from going 3-2. So if I if I set up a Goten to swing, I'm gonna combo heavy on it just to get you 2. Then I'll make sure I have the Bardock out ready, because if they negate the Goten, you still get the +1. So you actually minus them cards. And if the combo goes through, you still get the combo with the Bardock and awaken. I mean, not awaken, but evolve your Bardock and become big boy. And now you did the 3-2, so now it's the 2-2, and now you're gonna kill him. Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. Honestly, I think like playstyle is a big thing here, because like I've seen some gameplay of like this deck in Rudigarn Storm and SS3 Storm where people establish like 3 Bardock or Bardock apes, and it's like it's like, wow, how the heck they do that? Like, they are way better at this deck than I am. Like, my playstyle, I actually rarely drop this guy, but that's actually also because I've actually been doing some testing against some Shugesh decks, so that obviously like sucks to like, you know, swing with your Bardock and then have it blown up by like Shugesh into something that blows it up. But yeah, like I guess that's also a playstyle thing too. But I know that the Bardock Cape is really good against the SS3 matchup as well. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
I think if you overestablish for that field, that's, I don't know. Somebody did to me and I killed them, so I was like, okay, like it doesn't matter how many blockers you have, I'm still gonna kill you. Like over and like, you know, just using too many resources, like you're just setting stuff so far behind. Yeah, you gain like a couple extra attacks, but like, what if I have one negate, one block, one something? That's all I need to live, and then just clap back.
Yeah, especially in this type of deck, like Nimbus and having a blocker established, like you really are maybe only eating one attack that turn, and then like you're just good to go on your next turn. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Tony. So this was awesome, man. This was like a super dope interview about this deck, and like I think this is gonna be really helpful to a lot of players that are like either looking to pick up the Storm deck or looking to like maybe get a little bit better at the Storm deck. I really appreciate your insight on the deck. I know you've been playing it for a while, and you've definitely whooped my butt with it quite a few times, but I got you back a couple times. So. So I think it's been a really awesome interview, man. I really appreciate you coming on and like just talking about the deck and your thoughts on it.
No problem at all, man. It's been a pleasure, honestly. I just like to help people and understand certain things. And I want them to understand this deck's good. And if there's any questions for lines and stuff, like if you can't figure it yourself, then feel free to reach out. But realistically, it's a hard deck to figure out, and like knowing when to stop and slam the brakes, as we say. And knowing what to keep pushing is the hardest part, I think.
Yeah.
But I will say this too: if you're ever getting forced down to 3 or anything like that, but you're gonna live anyways, don't really awaken on your opponent's turn. And the other big thing is, when that does happen, don't forget that on that turn you need to swing with a battle card of some sort and combo, get that draw, then awaken, then you can swing with your, and you can either A. So let's say you go, I've done this play before. I was not awakened, and I tapped 2, dropped a Goten, swung with Goten, look at top 3. I said combo unyielding, restand energy, awaken, draw 2, draw a card off that, then awaken, draw 2. So I'm at 3, combo another unyielding, restand the other energy now, and then draw another card for that and the attack.
Yeah, it's funny too, because a lot of people would think like, oh, you're a draw 2 leader, so you can awaken like whenever you get the opportunity to. But no, it's actually really important to like get as many draws on both sides as possible. Absolutely. Yeah,
that's just the biggest part about playing Trunks, guys, is that you want to try to abuse your draws as much as you can. Every turn he's alive, you kind of do, because, like I said, you get the guaranteed 5 if you do the play right. And after that, every turn you live is just an extra card.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other like final thoughts about the deck wrapping up?
If you like playing defensively and having the option, I guess, to really stop, like, and know you feel safe, like you're confident you're not gonna die, this is definitely a deck for you. I like aggro a lot, don't get me wrong, but I like a controlled aggro. Like, I like to suffocate people, so I play something like this where they can't really do much, and when they can do something, I have a bunch of ways to really stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely a deck that's like super high skill cap that you need to learn how to play. And if we get any questions in the comments below about like certain strategies or certain ways to play this deck, I'm definitely going to reach out to Tony again so we can get those like the best answers for you guys. So then yeah, there's the deck profile on the Trunks Storm deck. Thank you so much, Tony, for coming on. If you guys like deck profiles like this, like in-depth kind of like deck profile interviews like this, let us know in the comments below. This is actually super duper fun for me. I think Tony also had a really good time too, so please let us know if you like that. With that being said, I'm going to sign off. This is Joey from CWTCG, and I'll let Tony say his goodbyes, and then we'll see you later.
It's Santaniello from Team Rivalry. You know what we do, boy. Catch y'all later.
See you later, guys.